I'm Lauren with Pack Hacker, and in this video we're taking a detailed look at the Eagle Creek Ranger XE Crossbody and the North Face Borealis Sling. If you found this video helpful, hit subscribe so we can keep making you content to help you travel smarter. Let's dive in. Right out the gate, there are some pretty clear visual differences between these two slings, but they are pretty similar when you get down to the actual meat of it. So we're going to kind of walk through individual features here, starting with the materials. On this Eagle Creek, we have a recycled 400D polyester ripstop, which you can see kind of across that front there, nice and bold. And then this North Face is a 210D recycled nylon ripstop, and it has a non-PFC DWR coating as well for some weatherproofing. So the North Face is available in a ton of different colors, and depending on the color you get, there are a couple of different materials, but they are pretty on par with each other, which is really great. In addition, on the outside here, we have YKK lockable zippers on this Eagle Creek. You can see right up at the top, that is where you can like slide a little lock or something like that. And then on the North Face here, we have YKK zips, just regular as well. And then we have Woojin hardware on Eagle Creek, Duraflex on the North Face. Overall, just really reliable materials across the board. They do have pretty similar zipper pulls here. We see like a paracord with a little plastic at the end, and that just makes it easy to grip. Actually, this pocket doesn't have it on the North Face, but it does have it on that main compartment there. So that is pretty nice for gripability and that sort of thing as well. As well with the attachment points on the outside, we don't really have any attachment points with the Eagle Creek, but on the front of the North Face, we have a few little like lash points on the front, and then we have the elastic here, which you can use sort of like as an additional pocket for extra gear storage. If you have like a packable jacket or a pair of shoes or something like that, you can slide them in there, which is a pretty solid feature as well. And then on top, we have a carry handle on this North Face, whereas with the Eagle Creek, it is on the back side and it's not really padded or anything. It sits flush against this back panel. If you have this sling on and you're wearing a thinner shirt, you can sometimes feel this through. It's not uncomfortable, but it is noticeable. And then with this North Face carry handle, never really found myself needing it super often, but it is nice and well padded, which I think just speaks to really the durability of the materials in this sling. And then for this Eagle Creek, it's more of like a focus on lightness. One of the biggest benefits of the Eagle Creek is that you can switch which side you're actually carrying the shoulder strap on. So you can see right here, it sort of just like feeds through. So, you know, if we were to unbuckle this, you can feed it back through this. It's not super quick, and it is easy, but it's not super fast. You can take this off and switch it to the other side, which is super handy if you know, you're ambidextrous, you want to switch whatever side you're carrying it on. Just adds a little bit of customization to this bag, which is great. Whereas the North Face, you can't switch the side. It is mounted on this side here, so you are committed to that side of carry. What is great about the North Face is that you have some extra features on the shoulder strap. You have a little attachment point here that's reflective, but it's not super reflective, so it's more of just an attachment point. And then you have this additional pocket, which we'll get into in a second, plus this other attachment point here. With the Eagle Creek, it has a really big focus on breathability. So this shoulder strap has a lot of mesh and a lot of like channels, air channels, and same with this back panel here. While the North Face one, this is like a super cushy foam, and these panels are pretty thick, both on the back panel and on the shoulder strap here. It's just very comfortable to wear, but it's a little less breathable than the Eagle Creek is. Starting off wearing the Eagle Creek, you can see that it is a little bit large on my back here. It's not uncomfortable or anything, and you do have a good amount of space of storage, so it kind of makes up for it. But it does have a little bit more of an outdoorsy look, I think. So if you're looking for something that's a little bit on the larger side, but also like still pretty thin and low profile, then this is going to be a really great option. It's really comfortable, and like I mentioned, you can switch it from one side to the other depending on your carry preferences. The North Face, on the other hand, is a little bit smaller just in terms of profile on my back. It's taking up a little bit less space. However, it does have this chunkier pocket on the front, so that's more visible than with the Eagle Creek, which has like a thinner strap that goes along the front. So it's kind of depends on your preference. I think even though that this North Face is still a little bit outdoorsy, it has almost more of like a fashion-y look to it, which I think is a large focus on the North Face anyway. But either one of them are a really great option in terms of comfort and fit. It's just more of which features work better for you. In terms of storage, these two are pretty similar as well. So they basically just have this front pocket. On the Eagle Creek, we have a diagonal pocket that goes from one, like basically top to bottom. And a lot of the storage space sits in this up area, which isn't super useful, because what it ends up being is a lot of, like, if you were to put any gear in here when it's just like laying flat like this, and then you stand the sling up to actually put it on, all of that gear from the top is going to fall down to the bottom. So it really is best for like taller gear or flat items, or just keeping in mind that everything that you're going to want access to is going to be down at the bottom here, or maybe use like a pouch or something like that. So it is, you know, not quite as functional as the pocket on the North Face here, which is a side pocket with a decent amount of space. You can see, I mean, you can't see where my hands are, but my hands are basically the entire length of this sling here down at the bottom as well. And it has this fuzzy interior, which is like a little fleece, super soft and comfortable. And this is really great for like if you have a device or something like that, like or sunglasses to help avoid scratches and that sort of thing. And then this is pretty roomy as well. I think what the Borealis does really well is accommodate bulkier items, whereas Eagle Creek, this Ranger takes like thinner, flatter items a lot easier, just because of the way that the pockets are configured. So that is something to keep in mind as well, depending on what kind of gear you have. As for water bottle pockets, we have this water bottle pocket on the same side of both of these. The Eagle Creek one is a lot stretchier, and you do have these like compression straps on the side as well that do more for like attaching gear. Like Eric, you know, put a tripod in there, so he was able to kind of lock that down. Whereas with this North Face, like even a phone in here is pretty tight. I have my phone over here to kind of show you what that's like. Like you can put it in there, but it's, you know, if you have, I have like a regular size iPhone 13, anything larger than that might get a little bit tight. So that's something to keep in mind. But like I have a 18-ounce water bottle here, and this is, I mean, I can't even begin to try to get this in there. And then same with Eagle Creek. It's just, they're like water bottle pockets, but not actually functional for a water bottle, which is an interesting move. But if you have extra gear, quick access, that's really great. And then on the shoulder strap, this is where, on the North Face, this is where you would put, like, you can fit a phone in here, technically speaking, it does, but then it starts to like push out on that mesh, and I don't really love the look of that. So here is where I would put like a pair of sunglasses if I didn't want to put them in that front compartment, or even my wallet if I wanted quick access to it, a Metro card, something like that. So this is really great for like quick grab items. And if you're not using it, then it is pretty low profile. It does like bulk out a little bit on the sides, but it's not crazy. And then the Eagle Creek doesn't have any sort of extra storage like that on there. So you do get a little bit of extra pocket action on the North Face, but overall the pockets are pretty similar. I would say overall the Borealis though has a little bit more functionality with that front pocket because of this one's diagonal design. Now heading into the main compartment. So it's in the name of this Eagle Creek bag, but it is the Ranger XC 7 liter. You can see it right on the front there. So this is a 7 liter bag, whereas the North Face Borealis is a 6 liter. So even though they're not similar in terms of height and design, you do have just a liter of difference between the two of them, which is really great. So opening up the Eagle Creek, and then opening up the Borealis, they both open pretty similarly. The Borealis opens more in like 2/3 of it will open, whereas the Eagle Creek is just sort of like one big open mouth. You can see right off the bat, the Eagle Creek looks like it has like ton more space essentially, but like I mentioned earlier, it's really best suited for flatter items, whereas with the North Face, if you were to stick bulky items in here, it's sort of like it's designed almost to like round out as you add gear, whereas the Eagle Creek, as you start to add like really bulky gear, you can sort of end up with like an odd shape, and bulky gear in here can start to poke through to that back panel because it is so thin. So if you have like really chunky items in there, you might start to feel that when you actually have the bag on. The North Face, I didn't really have that experience. So there's some differences there. With Eagle Creek, you have this one like singular pocket. It's a little mesh pocket, kind of similar to the mesh that's on the outside here. And this is just like a large pocket with a key leash in there with a super easy carabiner to get your key in and out. Super short, so you can't really use this like while the key is in there. You know, you might have to take the key off of there in order to use your key. And this pocket here is pretty large as well. So it'll keep your small items locked down, but I definitely recommend using additional pouches or things like that, because this is the full like length of that front panel essentially. So it's gonna get a little bit easier to lose items even though they are locked away in here. And so into this main compartment, it's that same sort of deal. There's no additional, like there's no sleeves for anything, there's no additional pockets, no storage. So this is really gonna be better suited for items like maybe a packable jacket if it like packs down kind of small, or like a tablet if you have a case that comes with, or like you have an additional case that you can use. But if you use like a camera or something more chunky, then you're gonna start to kind of bulk this out in an odd way. Whereas with the North Face, you have a similar mesh pocket on the front here. It's on the top, so when you have this open, your items don't fall like all the way down to the bottom there, and then that gives you space for, in this front compartment, to pack out items on this bottom here. So it kind of creates like a rounded shape as all of your gear starts to get loaded in, because this pocket here does have a good amount of space in there, and this has a key leash as well, similarly short, so it's, you know, you're still gonna have to kind of take this off in order to, or take your keys off in order to open your door, but you can really put a decent amount of gear in here and have it still fit without bulking out the bag too much and really impacting its shape like with the Eagle Creek. And then you do have a little device sleeve in the back, which is nice. This can fit like a Nintendo Switch if you have one of those, or a tablet, so that's really great for that. And then the rest of this area is basically open to pack as you please, but once you kind of have your small items in the front pocket and this pocket, what's really left is just like if you have a packable jacket or something like that, maybe a tech pouch if you are carrying your tech around with you. You have the space to put those sorts of items in there, and it starts to bulk up. But if you carry a ton of flatter items, then that's where you're going to want to look over at this Eagle Creek. So there you have it, the Eagle Creek Ranger XE Crossbody and the North Face Borealis Sling. Thanks for keeping it here at Pack Hacker, your guide to smarter travel, and we'll see you in the next one.